Our first player in the bottom right-hand side here on Terraform, it is going to be the KT player known as Stats.
And his opponent in the top left, playing for Team K2 Rollster as well, it is going to be the Red Zerg Life.
Alright, Life with a very close hold last game. That was quite horrifying, to be honest, as a Zerg player to watch.
That was looking really scary.
He was completely out of position. Had he not had something close, that game would have been over completely. But the fact that he still took that game after being so out of position and just kind of running back as quickly as he could to try to catch the Immortals last second, that was just in the nick of time.
I want to say that a big mistake out of Stats was the lack of Mothership.
Oh yeah?
Because he had no time warp, he had no recall, no contingency plan.
Wasn't that a choice though?
Yeah, it is. It's of course a choice, but I mean, there were points in time where his macro was slipping a little bit and he could have squeezed in the Mothership core, but then it's like, oh, wait, I have some money, so he whipped in a couple of extra Stalkers. That really didn't fill too much of a role for the army, because, as we've said so many times, the Immortals are the brunt of the force. So, you know, could have had a few improvements made here and there. But now we're in game number 2, and we'll have to see how things go.
We are Stats right now. He just pulls down the gateway first, going for the scout, and we're going to see actually if he decides to go, and it seems like he's going to go for the gate into Nexus. Now, Stats will scout there was a hatch first, and if he sees there's no pool, he could go for the same thing the Parting does, but he's instead just going to see the pool.
There are not many Protoss players that do the Parting thing with the gate at the front with a pylon.
But if you saw another drone leave, though, you could still just rally the Zealot, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could. But now you see, I mean, you see the pool, so there's just really no point. And Parting usually does that blindly on most occasions. So sometimes he comes in and there's like, oh,
especially on 4-player maps.
Yeah, especially yeah, exactly. So he comes in like, oh wait, you went for a hatch into pool, not a third before, not a 3 hatch. And then he kind of like, okay. Then he usually backs off.
This is, by the way, the kind of in-between build that I still really like. It's going for the hatch pool hatch, which means that you make sure that you won't be getting cannon rushed as easily. You make sure that that one Zealot, for instance, if it was to come, doesn't really deal even close to enough damage. And you get your early queens for both the inject and the creep spread. But you still go for kind of a 3 hatch before pool opening. It's the same kind of eco. You just have, I guess, a few less drones.
You have like, over having the extra drones, you have some safety options.
Yeah.
So you just don't outright die, which is kind of nice to not do.
Yeah. Especially when you're up one game, you kind of want to, I don't know, like you can play crazy, but you can also just play a pretty standard game.
This is interesting, I have to say. Those stats right away. Goes for the Chrono on the Stalker and opts in to not get that Mothership core right away. There it is, queued up in natural. Oh, no, what? Never mind. Did look like it, but no Mothership core yet. No tech. I think he's going to go for the Robo again, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to go for the same build?
Perhaps not the identical, but I think it's going to be a Robo.
Huh. Well, we're going to see. Right now, he has quite a lot of gas.
Yeah, could go Stargate. I mean, he does have the resources for it, but he's not making anything just yet.
Where is he going to put it?
Stargate? Forge?
Oh, Forge!
Yeah, okay. So we should see a Twilight Cancel go down with this. I'd be surprised if it was anything else.
This is going to be interesting, though. The links do come in, see everything that goes on, and it's like, okay, nice. And now I know there's a Stalker out as well, and you're building something still very interesting. And there's this first Stalker out as well, so everything has been told to Life, who's now defending against a Stalker with a Queen. Nice little micro here from both sides, going to make sure they don't lose too much. They still could lose some health, but not the end of the world.
But that Scout, though, that's going to be pretty big. Trap ceiling. We need to kill it. There we go.
Cute move.
Yeah, so 3 gateways plus 1 started, waiting for that Twilight Council to go down here from Stats, and then I guess a 3rd base. Unless he's going to be the bravest man in the world and go for the +2 7-gate blink all in from 2013.
I know you've done that a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I play a lot of old school styles, man.
Yeah, you actually use even Piggy Baby style. I'm not even going to get you started on that, though, because then we're never going to talk about this game. Overlord might get caught off here, but has to watch out. Speed isn't really about to be done, but of course, Stats can't know that for sure. And here comes the Lynx to kind of wrap around, but won't be able to. So, close enough, but Life won't catch anything today.
No, sir. Fresh catch of the day, not Stalkers. Lair started off with life. He's taken gas number 2 and 3. And then we ought to see a Roach-Ron added in. There's the Twilight Council I was talking about. Still no third base, though. Oh, stats, don't do this to me. Is he going to... If he goes for the +2 blink all in off for 2 bases...
No, he's not gonna. Here we go.
Yeah, there we are. Fine, thank God, because... I mean, I like the build, but it's a terrible build by today's standards. So I would advise you guys not to play like that.
Don't play out Tenshi.
Don't play like Tenshi.
That's basically the sum of the argument here.
Pretty much.
So right now, stats. He does the very common thing to do, push out as you get your third. And a lot of Zergs do exactly what Life do. I love this. This is typical lifestyle. To run around, try to pressure the third base, and maybe even force stats back. Now, if you have enough links to threaten the third, you almost always force the pros back. But if there's enough warp-ins at home for the pros, then you're in a pretty awkward position.
Yeah, but there's not really going to be enough here to stop this from going down. And now Stat is being very indecisive. He's sort of like, what do I do here? His army's out of position, so he's going to now desperately try to warp in.
Whoa!
Okay, not a cancel. That's kind of not optimal in this scenario.
That's even worse than yesterday, partying not cancelling those cannons.
Yeah, costs the same.
No, because you don't get full from cannons, and here you get a 300 something.
Yeah, okay. Well, a third base
I
is more...
out-mathed you, man.
A third base is more important than 2 cannons, I have to say.
Yeah.
So now Life trying to go for a bit of a swing in. He's got Blink halfway down, +2, also 50% complete. So, I mean, his army, once he starts getting that Stalker count a little higher, is going to be quite formidable. But the denial on the... or denial, I mean, what am I saying?
Yeah, denial.
I'm like, mixing words. The denial of that third base, very key here.
Yeah, it was kind of delayed because of the denial. And, well, we're going to see it. Tons of sentries in the third base right now. Mothership has enough for 1 photon charge and 1 time warp. But no way to get through here with a 1 Zealot. And Life, well, he's just going to continue to be quite aggressive. He has almost 60 workers, but he doesn't have a 4th base on the way. He doesn't really have anything on the way except for these roaches. Not even a +1. He's quite, not all in, but he's extremely aggressive with this. He needs to deal some kind of damage.
Yeah, putting a lot of weight into this attack. He's got Burrow, by the way, to go with this. And
oh, yeah.
Glider Reconstitution is soon going to be done. We'll probably see him go straight into those tunneling claws, which is going to be pretty cool. Just mass Roach with Burrow off of 3 bases.
Let's see, though. He is pushing across, and, well, we do see quite a few forces going down already. Splitting up the roaches. He does get the cannon, though, and now he can start burrowing. There comes the first burrow.
Yeah, but we do have there is an observer down here to the south for stats. There we go. Now he's bringing it back in. He's going to be forced to spend a couple of more extra force fields here. Now, that's actually a bit of misplacement, I have to say. There we go. Those are the force fields he needs. He needs to make sure that he cannot gap close with these sentries, and a lot of roaches have died right now for stats, or I mean for life. And more reinforcements here for the Protoss with a blink forward, and those 2 Immortals coming in. He's now going to shoot Life away, and all of a sudden the Protoss army looking very scary. This is when Stats wants to go.
Exactly. Now he can counter push against Life, who just lost a ton of his units. Right now, we do see Life kind of chasing back Stats, but he doesn't have enough units to take this engagement. We still have quite a few force fields here for Stats, so as long as he doesn't take that engagement in a completely open area, he should be quite fine.
I think he backed off there because he was kind of scared of like, you know, potential Hydras coming in as well, so being a bit indecisive.
Or maybe a burrow trap or something.
Yeah, something like that. He also didn't know, of course, the timing of those tunneling claws, so you get caught out, and then all of a sudden
things could get interesting.
Yeah, things get really nasty. But this is going to be a really good catch. Blinks forward there and catches a good section of roaches. Is going to force the burrow. Tunneling claws are not done yet. These 3 Immortals at the very back will do a ton of damage. And now Stats has spent most of his force fields, but a good number of roaches did fall here for Life.
And Life still only on 3 bases. It's still 3 base against 3 base. And Life, well, he did get the Hydra, and he's getting a 2nd Evo now, so he's going to catch up on upgrade. But it's +2 against 0-0 currently. We're going to see a Tunneling Claws come down for the Roaches, but that's quite a bit late. And now comes the 4th base at almost 14 minutes in. That's way too late.
Yeah, it's going to be a gold, though. So, I mean, it will be able to catch up quite quickly in comparison to a regular one.
True.
At least in terms of the mineral department. Now, however, Hydralisks, 10 in total, no splash damage for Stats. He's starting the Robobay now, but it's still going to be another 2 minutes before we can get even the first Colossus out on the field.
And now Life is kind of turning to that hybrid play that we do see almost every Zerg go into nowadays. That kind of Vipers, etc. Being developed. But right now, Stats have to watch out. We see more Roaches coming in towards the third base, but he does whoop in enough Stalkers to deal with that. He's chasing away Life from his natural as well. So just kind of giving chase to all sides here.
Yeah, this is so annoying for Protoss, by the way. When you don't have Observer speed, and this is a bit of a mistake here, I want to say, from Stats standing right on top of these Roaches, but nice blink away. He's going to be able to kill a couple of these as the Observer comes back in. Very, very good on sectioning up his army. Making sure that there are no openings here in the front line for Life to abuse.
Really good Observer placement as well. And now, look, because he has delayed Life so much and held so well, he is going to get a fourth base very easily here. No way really for Life to pressure that just yet. Now, Stats scouts as well. Okay, that's a fourth. He doesn't know for sure if there's a fourth down here, but he could scout for it. And he's going to see, oh, that's your only base. Okay, so you're on barely 4 bases. That's really good actually for Stats.
Yeah, he's been maintaining himself very nicely here in this game. And now, yet again, Life, with a huge number of Hydralisks, is going to try to hit this fourth base. And I think he's actually going to make it work. However, though, looking at Stats' army, how many Blink Stalkers does he have? Can we check that? Very
35.
Yeah, okay, that is the critical mass of Blink Stalkers.
It's exactly 35.
Well, like 30 plus. And he's going to have +3 very shortly with this. At the same time, though, good number of Burrowed Roaches actually make their way in here, and they're going to knock down this pylon, power down all these cannons, and at the same time, to the north, we have this massive attack being deflected right now. There's no way for Life to push through that shrubbery up towards that fourth base, but at the same time, the Roaches split up very nicely here for Life, and he's going to start knocking down this forge, but he doesn't know that +3 is already done.
And look at this, he's chasing back the entire army of Stats, but I think Stats might have trapped Life here. Life could get trapped with force fields, he has to watch out.
This fourth base might go down. There is a Colossus now in the mix as well. Roach is still in the main base. They have burrowed, so they're not actually doing any damage at this point in time. And a good number of units are actually going to be given up here. Now he goes for the Unburrow right on top of these Immortals, and they will end up falling. And that's going to suck quite a bit here. Still, though, no real economical damage done for Life still, because the fourth base stands for Stats, and the army of the Protoss is still extremely formidable.
It is, and the problem here is that although Life has done a great job to continue to have a really high supply in terms of army and, of course, workers, he's still struggling to keep Stats from reaching that max out, and Stats is reaching that point. He's getting his Templar Archives right now. So although we see Life, he's dealing with quite a bit of damage with these run-bys. He's still not at the point where he can take the straight-up engagement, and when he can, they're going to be high Templars out.
Yeah, like, the point in time where he could have really made good use of Vipers is kind of dwindling. He's still going to need them, but, I mean, they would have been super effective before this Templar tech came up. I mean, even, like, even Viper Infesta as a combination would have been really strong, but of course that's extremely costly, and with the late fourth base, hard to get the gas. But here we go, the Vipers are here. Blink forward, gets every single Viper. The Colossus even stays alive, and there's no way here for Life to engage through this choke around the gold base.
That was a huge mistake from Life. I'm not sure what he was doing there. He was probably tabbed out or something. He's going to lose every single Viper. Most of his army is being depleted, and what can he do here? He's just getting force fielded off.
Yeah, man, these units with the +3 attack, with the Colossi doing so much damage, Life plummeting in supply, the gold base is going to go down, and this means that Life is going to be down back to 3 bases, while Stats still maintains the fourth one to the top right.
Yeah, Stats right now in a dominating position, looking to get this series to an equal stance, and Life with the last hold here. Does he have a chance? I don't think so.
No, he's actually looking in a very grim position, my friend. Blink forward aggressively from Stats, and that's going to be a GG, and Stats